But first, unfortunately, we have to talk about many Erik Watts promos.
Erik Watts sucks.
Uh-huh.
And he sucks in such an unfortunate way in that he feels like he thinks he's a main event guy while he's sucking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I said this to you in Twitter, when I was like, 2003, Erik is a WWE main eventer in 2021, based purely on the way he carries himself. He would do everything to a T that they want him to do in 2021 WWE.
He would be in a stable and then feud with Baron Corbin.
Yes, 100%. He would be Baron Corbin.
I have a take about Erik Watts, Liam.
That he's the worst second generation guy in history.
No, I was going to say he's the worst thing in TNA history so far. I cannot stand Erik Watts on these shows. Like, he is unbearable. He does his first big promo on the show, on the March 5th show, where he interrupts Jeff Jarrett in the ring. And he just talks forever about absolutely nothing at all. He's just like, Jeff, you did something. I'm not going to say what you did, but you did something and it hurt my career, but I'm not going to say exactly what. And my dad was fine. My dad loved me. My dad pushed me, except the entire premise of our stable is we hate our dads. But I actually hate you, Jeff, because you somehow ruined me.
Because you're my dad.
He keeps talking, and as you said, he thinks he's cool, which is, I think, what makes it the most unbearable, which is the contrast from Flair and Lawler, who are operating like goons. And it's like, yeah, you're goons, that's fun. As opposed to Watts, who just thinks he's a badass, cool guy, and this is his final opportunity to get a real push in the wrestling industry. And it's horrible. He's so bad. He's one of the worst promos I've ever seen in my life. And the worst part is, he gets a ton of promo time. He talks a ton on these shows, and he's horrible.
Erik Watts is an interesting one, because he is the perfect example of what one of TNA's biggest problems is right now, where it's like guys who should just be mid-card goofs are pretending they're main event guys. And it's infuriating. Like, just let Disco be a mid-card goof. Just let Mike Sanders be a mid-card goof. Just let Flair and Lawler be mid-card goofs. Just let Erik Watts be a mid-card goof. Because none of these guys are main event guys.
So you're not looking forward to a potential Jeff Jarrett-Erik Watts match?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Erik Watts is my second least favorite guy in TNA history, so...
Oh, who's your least favorite?
It's BG James. I have no time for BG James.
I would watch a BG James promo or segment before I would watch an Erik Watts promo or segment.
I wouldn't, because it'll have less slurs, gay bashing, and terrible references and jokes that don't land. I'll take incoherent rambling over that.
Watts continues through the month on NWA-TNA Baby number 37. He has an interview with Mike Tenay, where Mike Tenay is just like, you're saying nothing. Why aren't you saying anything?
Just answer my questions, please. Even Russo answered my questions.
He was so frustrated and bamboozled by this Erik Watts interview where Erik Watts spoke in riddles and didn't say a word, and Mike Tenay just makes a face at the end, which I gift. It was a wonderful Mike Tenay reaction face, where he has like a half smile and it drops to like just utter disdain toward Erik Watts.
You know what? You know who would have got the answers out of Erik Watts?
Who?
The interrogators.
Nah, that's the mistake they made. They invited him on the Mike Tenay talk show instead of the rapid fire Mike Tenay Don West interrogation.
He could be like, Bill Watts. Dad, I love him. Jeff Jarrett. Oh, he did this one thing. Ah, you almost got me, Mike.
It's Don's presence. The crossed arms of Don's with the stroked chin of Mike Tenay is a combination that cannot be denied.
I mean, it's just too powerful.
We will start by talking about Erik Watts.
Oh, thank God. I'm glad we can get into Erik Watts' discussion.
I will preface our Erik Watts discussion with, I think everything he did this month is terrible and awful and cringy and just horrific. Now, Liam, what did you think of it?
I will now dub April 2003 the year of Erik Watts' redemption.
Oh, no.
For this was the month where he turned into a great character on this show. I loved this month. And, you know, fair enough for the podcast too. It all started April 2nd with a fantastic segment of him just taking a camera to one of these celebrity parties and getting all these guys who don't give a shit about wrestling to talk shit about Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, he had Brian Urlacher, he had Neil McCoy, he had Ira Dean. I forgot to write down some of the rest of the names. Let me very quickly check. Mark Ripon. Sorry, Mark Ripon was another person he had. I don't know who that is. Jim McMahon. I think they're football people. He also had the golfer. Who was the golfer he had? He was actually a famous golfer, wasn't it? John Daly. John Daly, of course. Very famous golfer.
Of Daly's Place.
Yeah, of course, yes. The owner of Daly's Place. These are the people who Erik Watts had to shit on and bury Jeff Jarrett.
It's a fantastic segment. And it was so funny to see, like, these actual, like, famous sports people be like, oh, yeah, Eric, my best friend. I'm here with my friend Erik Watts just to talk about Jeff Jarrett. And we're going to, Jarrett, Eric's you did something to him.
Yeah, it's like, you suck. You could never be here, Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff, why aren't you here hanging out drinking beers in this shitty hotel room?
If you remember, he faked being at a charity shindig so he could attack somebody last month. So this is Erik Watts at an actual charity shindig, getting all the famous people to bury Jeff Jarrett.
God, this is great. This is great stuff here.
Of the things Erik Watts did in the month of April, this was pretty good. The rest of it, shite.
That sounds like Erik Watts Redemption Part 1. And then, of course, we go to the next week. Well, should we do the Jarrett Goldie stuff here too?
Yeah, because this month the Jarrett is also turning heel, kind of. So he has an interview with Goldilocks where Goldilocks points out that's like, Jeff, you said you were going to a charity event, but then decided to attack somebody. That's not very nice guy behavior. It's like, you want to see a nice guy, Goldie? And grabs her by the throat and chokes her.
It wasn't even that. It was Goldie going, some of the boys in the back, they were kind of questioning it, and he's like, oh, you're one of the boys now, Goldie? Huh? You're in this business now, Goldie?
He's paranoid, he's freaking out.
It was for an even more innocuous comment. So the idea of this story is that Jarrett's got so many people gunning for him at this point that he is on edge, and he's paranoid, and he's breaking down a little bit, because he just got through D'Lo. He has Raven on his back, and Erik Watts constantly pestering him.
So he decides to choke some women to get out his frustration.
Yeah.
Alright, continue your Erik Watts month.
Alright, so we go down to April 9th. All you wrote was, Watts does something.
Yes.
Do you care to clarify what that something was?
Do you think I cared that much about the Erik Watts story?
Well, all I know is from this week, we had the Dusty Lawler ladder match with the NWA title on the line, which Erik Watts just runs in and takes it.
Yes, we'll talk more about the Dusty Lawler stuff later, which is, I think, honestly, the highlight of the month. But that is the Erik Watts beat of that match.
He just runs in and takes it. Next week, he meets Dusty in the car park. They have a fun little exchange. I really like Dusty here, and I like Watts this is not in this section, but in the last episode of the month. Watts is like the only person I've seen break Dusty.
Yeah.
Because in the last segment of the month, once Watts has gone full Looney Tunes, he just pulls the NWA title out of his belt, out of a bag, and just gives it back to Dusty Rhodes.
He's like, I'm sorry, Dusty.
And Dusty's like, thank you.
He is very confused by this Erik Watts behavior.
and Dusty just kind of breaks a bit, and it's very funny.
Because for the first 2 weeks of this month, Erik Watts hates Jeff Jarrett. He gets all these celebrities to bury him. He's like, you're the worst guy in the world. Then the Erik Watts does something, bro. It's just a promo backstage with, I think it's like with Goldie, where he's talking about how he got a Porsche for signing with WCW. He's talking about how he went to Vince's house.
Yeah, it's just him yammering on about nothing. Yep. It's great.
Talking about how great he is and how Jeff sucks, but he cares for Jeff. So then the rest of the month is him being Jeff Jarrett's pal?
Yeah, he wants to be his best friend. I think part of it's because his other friends got kicked out of the company.
Yeah, Lawler and Flair are gone after the ladder match with Dusty, so Watts is there by himself.
It's kind of great. Is the next week the one where Watts has got the straitjacket?
Yes, that's the week where he's trying to beat up Raven on behalf of Jarrett.
So, no. He makes it abundantly clear that he doesn't want to beat up Raven. He just wants to put him in the straitjacket and talk to him. He wants to have a sit down, have a chat with Raven to try and sort all of this stuff out with Jeff. And there's a great portion of it where Watts walks up and confronts Jeff, who has the NWA title over his shoulder, obviously. And he walks up to him and just goes, hey, nice title. I got one as well.
That is the best line of Watts of the month. I did enjoy that.
Which, of course, and you can tell that at this point, Jeff has kind of gone past the Watts stuff because he's so focused on Raven, because he just goes, that boy's going to get himself killed, and it might be the best thing for him.
So then Watts does indeed go hunting Raven.
Yes, meets him backstage in Raven's little pervert bathroom nest.
Where he has a bunch of candles on the floor.
And of course, because he spent the entire show asking everyone where Raven is and confirming that he was going after Raven, Raven was just waiting for him. So the minute he opened the door, Raven jumps him and beats the hell out of him, which gives Jarrett the opportunity to make the run in.
So yeah, he puts Erik Watts in the straitjacket, gathering beat him up.
And it's quite a fun bit too, where the camera lingers on the ring a little too long. Like they didn't cut to the back quick enough, and you see Erik roll out of the ring and just throw up his hands and go, huh, as he walks away. Thus confirming and finalizing the Erik Watts face turn to me.
You liked this Erik Watts stuff a lot more than I did.
It's just fun. He's a fun weirdo. You know, he did the same thing as Brian Lawler, where it's like, I didn't like Lawler because he was a boring, generic guy, and then he just decided to be a crazy weirdo, and I'm like, yeah, alright, I'm in.
Fair enough. I thought he was still cringy and really annoying for the month.
You just don't have taste.
Listen, I enjoy Brian Lawler shoot-punching fans in the face. That's stuff I can get on board with. Erik Watts wearing his goofy jackets, just doing bad promos and acting like a goon. Not so much. He's Baron Corbin.
He's not Baron Corbin. He has more personality than Baron
He has
Corbin.
the exact amount of
Baron
personality
Corbin
than Baron Corbin
No,
has.
that's not true at all. That's not true at all.